Hello, you absolutely beautiful subscribers. As you probably already know, those pesky dames made 100 subscribers this week, yay! Which is a really big landmark for all of us and something that is really exciting, and basically thanks a lot, you've made us all ecstatic, as you've probably been able to tell from the videos so far. Also, just to say, we are looking for a new Wednesday vlogger. There is a link in the description bar if you fancy being our Wednesday vlogger, what you've got to do, and I encourage all of you to apply. It's really simple and we're actually really nice people, I hope, so we're not going to be like really scary and judgmental or anything, and basically we'd love to have more people on board. So yeah, think about that. And now onto the main topic. This week at Those Pesky Dames we are talking about women's spaces, and by women's spaces we mean women only spaces. These kind of spaces have a long history in feminism, and they were used a lot in second wave feminism, sort of around the 70s, and they're sometimes referred to as consciousness raising groups. Women only spaces exist as a place where women can talk openly and freely about their experiences of oppression and patriarchy without having men there who are historically the people that have benefited from that oppression. Now, lots of men are really awesome and really badass, and they're really understanding of women's oppression. And we're not having like women only spaces because we hate the men and we want to stifle discussion and exclude you all from it. That's not why we're doing it. The thing is that men have been raised and socialized in certain ways. And one of those ways is that men are quite confident about expressing an opinion and about, you know, expecting that opinion to be treated with respect, which is obviously really good, and, you know, we should all be confident about voicing our opinions like that. But the thing is, women tend to have been socialized to sit down and be quiet and be a bit more passive, and a lot of women often are a bit reluctant to express opinions because the fear of having your opinion like shouted down or laughed at is quite a scary thing, especially in a group setting. And when we're talking about feminism, the basis of that discussion should be around women's actual experiences. And when men dominate a discussion, and often they don't mean to, and they don't even realise that they're doing it, it makes women hush. And it makes women less confident about voicing an opinion or sharing an experience. And the fact that men tend to dominate verbal discussions like this mean it's really valuable for women to have a place where they don't get talked over. I remember going to a feminist conference at Warwick University, and even though there are only about 5 men in the room and there are about 30 women, still the discussion was mainly male voices. Keeping your privilege in check is a constant process. And sometimes even the most well-intentioned allies can slip up and they can talk over women or question women's experiences, and that kind of behaviour isn't helpful to anybody. It's nigh on impossible, no matter how much we all might want to leave your privilege by the door, and so sometimes it makes it just a little bit easier if you stay outside with it. We're not trying to exclude you all the time, but sometimes, just sometimes, we need a space for us to share our experiences and talk about them just for a little while by ourselves. Women only spaces doesn't just work with women, this idea of a intentionally exclusionary space. Obviously within the big overarching category of women there's a lot of different experiences and lots of different privileges. So some women will be in different socio-economic groups. Some women will be women of colour, and some women will be queer, and some women will be trans. Like I am a white middle class cis woman, so you know I have a lot of privilege, and my experiences of patriarchy are going to be different from, say, a queer woman of colours, because there's a lot of different things going on there. And it's a lot easier to talk about your own experiences of oppression when you know that you're surrounded by people who have probably been through the same thing, who will probably understand and understand how you feel as well, which is really important. And they're not sitting across from you facing you with a sack of privilege, which might cause them to come out with some really douchebag things. The biggest problem with women-only spaces is probably how you would define woman. As Becca pointed out in her video on Monday, feminism basically has a really shitty history, a really shitty transphobic history, and often has either actively kicked the trans community in the stomach or done equal damage by simply ignoring them and excluding them from discussion and debate. Plenty of women's spaces have really sadly objected to trans women being there because of, you know, shitty, thinly veiled, cissexic, transphobic ideas. That's really an awful thing to do to people. I remember Reclaim the Night faced a lot of criticism, and rightly so, because they used to accept cis women only, and they've changed that now, so now the event is open to anyone who identifies as female. And personally, I think that is, if you're going to have a women's only space, I think you should run it on the grounds of people who identify as female. But even then, you can still come to really difficult problems of, well, what do you do for people outside the gender binary? So people who are trans or genderqueer or agender, or, you know, similarly marginalised gender identities. Often if society reads them as one gender, maybe they have like a feminine presentation or a feminine name, then they can still face a lot of the similar oppression that cis women face. So I don't have like a perfect solution. I just think that when you create your exclusionary space, you need to be really, really careful and think really hard about who you want to be there and who you want to exclude, and do have valid grounds for excluding them. Thank you for watching. Do get in touch, please comment, messages, whatever, tweet us. We're on Twitter now, how great is that? And we've got a Facebook page, and you can comment on the videos, you can email us, get in touch and just tell us what you think about women-only spaces, because it's quite a difficult topic. I think it's caused a lot of controversy. But basically, I think women-only spaces are a really good idea, and I think in a sexist society they're quite a necessary thing. But get in touch, share, as always, we love hearing from you. And I also want to apologise for not uploading a video last week. I was meant to be doing one on Thursday, but I had some problems, and as always my fellow dames were really, really understanding and really lovely to me about it, but I neglected to pass on to you guys that I wouldn't be doing a video, so I feel like I let you down a bit, and sorry. And if I can't make a week in future, I will try and tell you beforehand. So yes, thank you for watching, keep subscribing, and see you next week.